Hello everyone. We need to have a very careful consideration. What I'm about to tell you now is the information I'm going to provide you with is going to allow you to be informed about what's going to happen on the 5th of September, and the decisions thereafter lie with each and every one of our members and with each and every South African. So the long and short of it is that we do not have permission. We will not get permission to demonstrate on the 5th of September. Dlamini Zuma is in firm control of the Disaster Management Act, and by all means she is currently running the country. I'm going to ask each and every single one of you to look deep inside of yourselves and to ask yourselves one question. Do you want to live in a country where we are imposed with a curfew, where governments are trying to pass a bill right now as we speak about censoring social media, where governments are trying to pass a bill right now where they censor what we can watch? Do you want to live in a country where we are living essentially in a communistic state? Because that is our option. Where we go to from here as a nation is up to us. We can either conform and we can allow ourselves to be trodden all over, told where we can stand, where we can't stand, who we can speak to, who we can't speak to, what we can share, what we can't share, what we can say and what we can't say. That is the reality that we're facing as a nation right now. That is the reality that we're facing in South Africa. And if you think to yourself that this regulation is going to be lifted, if you think to yourself that South Africa is ever going to be returned to a democratic state unless we stand united as a country, I'm telling you now, you're wrong. So we need to make a decision whether or not you're going to be with us on the 5th of September. I can tell you that I'm going to be at the front lines. And I'll take whatever responsibility that means. I'll take it. It's my responsibility. But I'll be standing right in front and I'm going to take whatever comes my way. Because I understand one thing. That we are in the fight for our lives in South Africa. We are fighting not only for ourselves, for our future, but for our children. We are fighting for our liberty and we are fighting for our independence. And unless we are willing to make a bold stand, like so many have done before us, we will fail. Unless we are prepared to put all on the line, we will collapse. So each and every one of you needs to understand that there's a very good chance we will be met with resistance on the day. And what that resistance looks like will depend on the climate of our protest. This is why we're calling for peaceful protests, because you cannot fight peaceful protests with force and resistance. And if they do choose to do that, the world will be watching. So I need each and every one of you to decide whether you're going to stand with us on the day or not. I can tell you one thing, for every woman and every man that refuses to join us on the day, you're empowering a socialist communistic state. For everybody that refuses to make a stand on the day, you are going to empower what happens to us next in this country. We are out of options, we are out of time. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm actually shaking. The reality of our country right now, the reality of where we are right now, is that if we don't make a stand, if we don't put everything on the line right now, today, we are going to fail. So I'm going to leave this message with you, and I'm going to allow you all to do a little bit of soul searching. I'm going to allow you to decide for yourselves whether you're going to take this lying down or whether you're going to make a stand. Whether we're going to look at those who have fought for liberation in the past and use those as our reference, or if we're going to use the reference of what we have today. Because I don't want to live in a country like I'm living in right now. There's no point to living in a state like this, because it's not living. It's not even surviving. We are at the end. We're at the end. So guys, this is a decision you all have to look inside yourselves and make together. It's a discussion that you all have to have with yourselves. But I can tell you right now, if we do not rise, if we do not take these guys head on, if we do not make our stand today, South Africa is going to become a full-blown communist state. We can kiss our democracy goodbye. We can kiss goodbye our independence. And I'm not prepared to let that happen. And I will face whatever consequences I have to in order to fight that system. Let us use Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu. Let us use Steve Biko. Let us use all of the leaders that stood with us. O.R. Tambo. We have got so many people that we can reference. Let us stand with those who have stood. Those that have stood against terrorism. Those who have stood against the tyranny. Those who have stood against the regime, an apartheid regime. Let us use them as our benchmark. Let us not be led by fear. Let us be led by courage. Let us be led by determination. Let us be led by the freedom and the hope of a better tomorrow for our future and our families. I pray that everybody receives this message and that it hits your heart today. South Africa, unless we make a stand on the 5th of September and unless we keep on coming back, we are going nowhere. We're going one way. Mr. President, if you are watching this, I urge you, please meet us on the day. Your country has arisen. The people of South Africa they've risen. We are mass mobilizing. You have ignored us. You sit and talk to us from behind the screen, Mr. Ramaphosa. I'm begging you, please. I'm begging you. Get onto the streets and face the people. Come and talk to us. This is the only way for you. If you're watching this, Mr. Ramaphosa, please. Do the right thing. Do the right thing for your country. We can't let this happen. We can't afford to let this happen. Everybody needs to make a choice today. I know what mine is. What's yours going to be?